next speaker, Representative Greg Cheney. Greg was raised in Clark County and is a long-time resident of Battleground. Greg's an attorney focused on helping small and mid-sized businesses, providing indigent representation to low-income Washingtonians and even legal support. He's also a small business owner. As a member of the legislature, Greg is focused on keeping taxes low and cutting government waste, eliminating regulations that hurt small business and negatively impact job growth, fixing the blatant decision to recriminalize drugs while incentivizing treatment-based care over incarceration, increasing funding for and improving the delivery of mental health services, and working on the regional transportation solutions and reducing congestion. Greg is currently serving on 4 House committees. He is the ranking member on the House State Government Tribal Relations Committee and serves on the Capital Budget, Civil Rights and Judiciary, and Regulated Substance and Gaming Committees. Greg and his wife Laura have 2 young children, and Greg is currently running for Senator Ann Rivers' Senate seat for the Legislative District 18. And so please join me in giving a warm welcome.
Most importantly, perhaps what Jamie didn't say in that intro was I go to church with him and his wife. So I see him every week, and Jamie kept me, Greg, are you coming? You're coming. Yeah. So thanks for having me, and thank you, Jamie, for organizing this. It's great to be here and just visiting with all of you. So I'll just go back to what John had talked a little bit about criminal justice and talk about some things that are going on, where we're making headway, where we're stopping bad ideas. So for those of you who don't know, we're one seat shy of Democrat supermajority. So that's why when Matt talks about we got to win seats, we have to hold Republican seats. The supermajority would be a killer, for example, on property taxes. If the Democrats manage to get that, you've got a real problem when it comes to property taxes. But we'll fight that battle when and if it comes. So, criminal justice. There was a horrible bill that went through the state legislature. It came to my committee. I'm the ranking Republican on the State and Tribal Relations Committee. What that committee is it oversees elections, for example. It oversees some other things like the state law library and a few other things. But the main thing is elections and voting rights. And it was a bill sponsored by a former felon who's now a state representative, who said that current serving felons, murderers, rapists, child pornographers get a right to vote, sit on juries, and run for elected office while serving a felony prison sentence. That is absolutely wrong. It is wrong, wrong, wrong. Now, to give you a sense of this, there's a sense right now in Olympia that criminals are the victims and the victims are the criminals. That's wrong. What they did was so I'm getting, and if you haven't seen it, I wrote a long op-ed piece, and it ended up not getting published in the Columbian Shocker. But it got published up north in the Tacoma News Tribune, where I said, hey, you can't, think of how terrible this is. If you are a rape victim, and there is a rapist serving, a felon rapist currently serving a prison sentence in the jury box, passing judgment on the person who just raped you, that is absolutely wrong. And within a few days, and there was another newspaper article about it 2 days ago, this time it didn't get published, it says, well, a Republican had the temerity to ask the prisoner who testified in favor of this bill what he did. Well, that was me. The prisoner, by the way, was who said, I want my right to vote. And by the way, it wasn't just, I want my right to vote, it's you're a racist if you don't agree with giving them their right to vote and run for office and sit on a jury. And that member had killed 2 people with a deadly weapon. That is simply wrong. When you commit felonies, you give up your rights. Period. End of story. Wrong, wrong, wrong. But that's the mentality that we're fighting currently in Olympia. it's not about, this isn't normal, right? This isn't what 70, 80, 90% of us in the state agree on. This is the fringe left, the progressive left out of Seattle driving the state's agenda. Now, we managed to kill that bill because even to the moderate Democrats, there's a couple of pro-business Democrats up around the Puget Sound. They hide out in Bellevue and don't make a lot of noise. They couldn't even stomach what their own party was putting forward. They had no idea that this bill was even here. And yet this is what the progressives out of Seattle are pushing in this state. So we worked a lot. John and I talk, I don't know, daily sometimes when there's police bills going through. We fixed the police pursuit. Police officers, until about 2023 when we finally passed police pursuit, thanks to Jim Walsh's initiative, they got embarrassed enough. Okay, now that we know there's an initiative, we'll go ahead and vote it off the floor, and we'll change that law. So now police officers can again pursue. But the fight isn't done on criminal justice. Two other bills that are bad bills, we've got to go back and get them fixed. One, they're trying to delete sentencing for juveniles and give them a magic slate when they turn 18 or 21, depending on the crime. But let's think about this. We are seeing, go Google, at any time you want, go Google Tacoma. Find out what the average age of the drive-by shooting is right now in Tacoma. It's usually 15, 16, or 17-year-olds who are engaging in drive-by shootings. You can do under the Democrat bill, you can do as many drive-by shootings as you want, and magically when you hit 18 or 21, that all goes away. And the judge is forced to look at you as if you have no criminal history in your entire life when they go to sentence you if you do the exact same thing as an adult. That's wrong. It's wrong. It has to be turned off. There's another bill out there. Unfortunately, this one got a few more Republican votes that I would have liked. It's a bill that says you can get 2 DUIs, no jail time, and only if you get a third DUI do you ever go to jail. All you have to do is promise to go to treatment. Again, that's not right. The reason you give jail time on a first DUI, by the way, is so that you feel the sting. It doesn't have to be a long jail. But for the average person, you just need enough to feel the sting of going through the criminal justice system so you never get a DUI in your life. And yet the Democrats, under their bill, it's now your third DUI. Now the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, the NHTSA, that's right, John? Something like that?
Yeah.
What they say on average is you get about 80 times driving drunk before you're ever pulled over for a DUI. So that means you're on your 240th driving before you've ever gone to jail. Again, wrong, wrong, wrong. It's a bad way to go. It needs to be stopped. All right, let's talk about a little bit of good things. So the chair of the Criminal Justice Committee, a Democrat, he didn't want to make any new crimes this session. And I thought to myself, well, John and I talked about this, well, we've got a problem of catalytic converters getting stolen out of Portland, cut out of cars in Portland, and then getting dumped up here on the black market. Well, catalytic converters bill goes through the business committee. It doesn't go through the criminal justice committee. So what if we increase the penalties for cutting out and dumping if you're on the black market because you're trying to buy and sell and use the proceeds for drugs? That's what's going on. It's part of drug transactions. What if we pass those increased penalties through the business committee and we go right around the chair of the criminal justice committee? That's what we did. So I got amendments in the business committee in a bill that was generally about catalytic converters to help raise the penalties. If you're going to engage in drug dealing and using stolen catalytic converters as a mechanism to fund that drug activity, we've got a way now to hold you accountable with more tools by increasing those penalties. I would have liked to have had a little more fight from our local delegation on tolling on the I-5 bridge. So Stephanie McClintock and I ran a number of bills to try to narrow or stop tolling. All of them were defeated on party line votes. What you may not know, and you should be very concerned and aware of this, is the tolling area for the I-5 bridge area. The tolling area starts just south of SR 500. It covers the SR 5, well, it covers Main Street exit, all the Mill Plain exits, and oh, by the way, it could cover eastbound on SR 14. That's not what they told you where they were going to put the tolls. But if you know of a government agency who wouldn't put the tolling booth further north if they think they can collect all that revenue, even though you are never going across that bridge. You're going to be turning east to go into East Vancouver, go to Clark College, go to downtown Vancouver. Now Oregon, do we trust Oregon on tolling? I don't think we should. They keep claiming, oh, by the way, we will only promise, if we put in a toll booth, it'll be on the south side of the bridge in Oregon, and we'll only take tolls from those people. Again, do you trust a government agency to turn down revenue if they've got the opportunity to put it just south of that SR 500 interchange? It's a big problem. Again, we tried to run the amendments, defeated on party line votes. So the fight, we are taking the fight to them. Stephanie and I are there every day taking the fight to them. But we need your help. We need your help in terms of, mostly in terms of getting out the vote. Whether it's for Joe Kim, whether it's for Stephanie, whether it's for me, whether it's from Philip Johnson, who's back here, who's going to run for my, or is running for my state house seat. We need your support to get out and help us doorbell, help us raise the chance for all Republicans to do well. Because what we can't have in this election, in my view, we can't have people sitting idly by at home and then wondering why they don't like the outcome of elections. Elections have consequences. They matter. We're going to fight that good fight all summer long and into the fall. And we're here to win. And I think, and I really appreciated what Jamie said, I know there's a diversity of opinion on the Sydney Bird versus Riker, but I heard two things. And I heard Matt Bloom say something that I think is really true. 9 people shouldn't have the power to make that determination for 2,000 some other people who've given a lot of money and treasure and time to be in that room as delegates. I agree with that. 2, I really appreciated what Jamie said, which is at the end of the day, we're Republicans, and we are here to fight for lower taxes. We're here to fight against criminal, what I would call criminal nonsense from the progressives, and we're here to help make each and every life better here in Clark County on the 18th. My Democrat opponent is looking like he's going to be your run-of-the-mill person who's just going to say, well, I'm a teacher, I'm in the union, and all the unions should endorse me. That's not who we are. We in this room are small business people, we're retired, we're military veterans. Philip is a military retired. We can't just rely on teachers' unions like they can. We can't just rely on labor unions to do all our legwork. We got to get out and do it ourselves. So I welcome you. I don't care who you doorbell for. I'd like it for me. I'd like it for Stephanie. I'd like it for Philip. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you doorbell for. It's your doorbell. Because we don't have those unions that are just going to order the troops out. We don't have them. So we have you. That's what we need. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking that first step and being involved. Jamie, thank you.